from her. I will text her.
A Goosby song. Well, if he's in Springfield,
Shady Grove, Pastor Baker Church.
oh, somebody told me it was in Springfield.
She's walking in, Mr. Chairman.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Look at her little jean jacket.
You're so fashionable.
Yeah, with your jean jacket.
It's so trendy right now.
Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Today is Tuesday, May 4th, 2021, and we're here at 903 Main Street in the Rockdale County Auditorium for our work session this morning at the top of the month of May, and I'm calling this meeting to order. We will start with, are there any special presentations or
No,
recognitions?
Mr. Chairman.
None this morning?
Not this morning.
Okay, all right. We'll go right on into agenda review.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the first item that we have under unfinished business for next Tuesday, May 11th, would be an ordinance amending Article 4, Chapter 2, Part 2 of the Code of Rockdale County, Georgia, by providing for the abolishing of certain departments, for the creation of certain departments, for the consolidation of certain departments, amending certain sections of Chapter 70, Part 2 of the Code of Rockdale County, Georgia, and for other purposes. Next Tuesday, this will be submitted for a second reading. This ordinance encompasses the changes to the pay and classification plan that started in December of last year through present.
Commissioners, what's your pleasure? Any comment?
Well, this has something to do with the emergency management
department and the fire and rescue, is that what we're talking about, from what I could
Director Holmes?
understand when I read it?
Good morning,
Morning.
Chairman, Commissioners. It does, Madam Commissioner, it is the separation out, that's one portion of it, the separation out of the EMA department from Rockdale County Fire Rescue, making it its own standalone department. So that is one portion of it as well. And then also the creation of general services.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Director.
You're welcome.
Next item?
So that brings us down to the regular agenda. And item 217 is with the Atlanta Regional Commission through the General Services Department, the Senior Services Division. This is a CARES Act grant. It's change order number 2 to contract 2020-85. It's an additional $36,193.57 and to extend the term through September 30th, 2021.
Okay, next item?
Item 218 is with Rockdale Plaza LLC through the General Services Department. This is for a lease and an amendment for the Accountability Court Lab at 1147 West Avenue Southwest, Conyers, in the amount of $3,176 per month. It's 1 year with remaining years and monthly amounts listed in the lease, 1 year with option to renew 4 additional 12-month periods.
So I do have a question for Director Sanders on that one. I just want to make sure I'm tracking and clear. So Director Sanders, if we moving forward with this particular lease will take us into just simply 1 more year, or is it 2 years?
It's 1 more year with 4 options to renew for 12-month periods.
Okay. Okay. I wanted to make sure that the commissioners heard that as well, because with some of the other considerations we have, that's something to factor in there as well.
Yes, and that was at Judge Bill's request.
Okay.
She wanted it done that way.
Okay. Thank you so much.
And so it looks like the lease goes up every year?
Yes, 2%, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. All right. Next item, please.
Thank you. Item 219 is with Orange Cone Productions LLC through the General Services Department. This is for the filming of Legacies Season 3 at Costley Mill. It's in the amount of $9,300 in revenue. The term is April 9, 2021 through April 19th, 2021, and it's submitted for ratification.
Okay. Commissioners, any comment on this one? All right. Next item.
Good one. Item 220 is with Gloria Franklin Wright through the Juvenile Court. This is a contracted attorney in the amount of $33,300 per year. The balance of 2021 with option to renew 2 additional 1-year renewals.
Okay. Next item.
Item 221 is with Atlas Technical Consultants LLC through the Transportation Department. This is for professional program management support services. It's change order number 2 to contract 2020-23. It's to add additional $150,000 for program project support services and assist the management oversight of the SPLOST projects.
Okay.
Item 222 is with the Rockdale County Board of Education through the Transportation Department. It's a memorandum of understanding for the construction of a 10-foot multi-use trail on property at the Heritage High School on Grenade Road. It's a reimbursement of a not-to-exceed amount of $99,100 from the Board of Education.
So is that trail going to go across the front of the high school there?
Got 2 directors on that one.
Yeah, it's a collaborative effort.
That trail is
Yes.
touching a lot of areas.
Yes, it is.
Director Sanders, you're more than welcome. Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. So yes, this trail, which is a 10-foot wide multi-use trail, will go in front of Heritage High right there on the east side of Grenade Road from State Route 138 all the way to McCullum Road.
Oh, okay.
It's approximately 4,000 linear feet of sidewalk.
And does it connect with any of our other path?
So on the 138, it does connect with crosswalks that you'll cross the road there. On the other side, it will connect with the parks service.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you. Item 223 is with Computer Software Incorporated, CSI, through the Planning and Development Department. This is for software license and servicing hosting for Magnet. It's change order number 3 to contract 2020-30. This is to add the citizen self-service portal payment integration, and it's an additional $6,000.
So, Director Moore Jackson, would you come up and just give us a little bit on this one? This is adding a citizen self-service portal to that particular software. If you can just give us a brief on that, please.
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
This is a software that I have discussed with Director Kalanis Johnson for Planning and Development, and his staff is very versed in that. And what this software will do is actually add the citizen self-portal, so it will give them the ability to make the payments online,
Oh, wonderful.
electronically.
Wonderful.
And actually, Director Kalanis is more versed in it if you need any more additional information than that, sir.
Thank you so much. Director Johnson, is there anything else to add? It sounds like it's going to be just a big feature for the citizens to access your department. Come on up. Come on up. Yes, sir.
So will this cover things like permits for all the different things and?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Madam Commissioners. This will just allow residents to make payments virtually, any types of permits via e-check or credit card. And the cost will be passed on to them. So if something is $50, it may be $53, but the $3 will be passed on to the actual applicant. So,
Okay.
yeah. So it will keep them from coming in person, having to write a check physically in person for any types of permits.
Is there some way for them to make the payment without having to pay the fee?
If they use this, it's a convenience fee. It's like,
Right, yeah, I understand that, but I mean, if they don't want to pay the fee, is it always a $3 fee no matter
Or-
how much the,
it may be $2 or
payment is-
$3, but the convenience fee will never be borne by the county. It will be actually paid for by who was ever using it.
So the only way to avoid the fee is to come in
To come in
live
person.
and make
right.
it. I got you.
Yeah. Anytime they use a portal, there will be a convenience fee.
Very
Okay.
good. Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much. All right. Thank you, directors. Thank you. Next item, please.
All right, item 224 is with Relias Learning LLC through the Sheriff's Office. This is an online learning system for the jail division. It's change order number 5 to contract 2013-159-E22 in the amount of $11,500, and it's for 12 months.
yeah, I think this is going to be a great way to track
It really is.
the deputies' training.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Item 225 is with COT Systems Incorporated for the Clerk of Court's Office. This is for the Deeds Online Index Book, and it's in the amount of $49,590, and this is a one-time purchase.
Okay. Next item.
Item 226 is with MedCura Health Incorporated through the Accountability Courts. This is for medical testing services. It's change order number 1 to contract 2018-70. This is a name change from Oakhurst Medical Center to MedCura Health Incorporated and a clarification of contract language.
Okay. Anything on that one, commissioners? Okay.
Just there was no real change to the contract other than they've changed their name. Did they expand the services? It didn't appear
I
that
don't think
way
they
to me.
expanded the services. That's not
Okay.
what the contract was saying. It said that they changed their name.
Right. I
Right,
think it was-
that's what I thought
You're
too.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I saw. It just seemed like it was simply a name change in it. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Thank
next.
you.
I think, well, I just should say how important that is because so many times people with mental health and addiction problems, their physical health gets overlooked. And so, it integrates their physical health with their mental health.
It really does.
And it makes a big difference. They're located right there in the same building as Viewpoint Health that provides our mental health services for the community. So,
Very convenient. The holistic is coming together. Okay, item 227 is a requisition through the Water Resources Department. This is for United Maintenance Incorporated. This is for the 3-phase right temp chiller in the amount of $42,102.
Okay.
Item 228 is a requisition for the Water Resources Department. This is for Allen Vigil Ford for a 2021 Ford Explorer in the amount of $30,176. Item 229 is a requisition through the General Services Department. This is the replacement of 3 HVAC units in the amount of $38,716.
Director Sanders, what areas of facilities were those units placed on?
Those units are going to be in the Superior Court for Judge Bills in her area. And
Okay.
they'll be the new with the ionization for the air quality.
Follow you.
Nice.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 230 is an expenditure request for Tyler Technologies Incorporated for the Clerk of Court's office. This is for the SAAS hosting in the amount of $263,573. Item 231 is surplus of equipment for the Clerk of Court's office.
Okay.
And item 232 is the appointment of the Director of Public Relations, Mr. Joe Gum.
Okay, come on up, Director Holmes. I almost said Director Sanders again. Y'all.
She's eager to be at the microphone this morning. So.
Yeah, she is. Good morning. I just wanted to share a little bit of information about Mr. Gum. He does come to us with over 20 years of experience in mass communications media. He has worked with several large media organizations, including ESPN, Disney, Fox Sports, and the Atlanta Small Business Network. He has a Master of Science in Communications Mass Media from Purdue, and he received his BA in Broadcast Communications from the University of Texas, Arlington. Thank you.
All right. Very good. Thank you, Director Holmes. All right. Next
Okay.
item.
Item 233 is for the Department of Human Services, the Division of Family and Children's Services. Through the Juvenile Court, this is for the Reshape Grant, change order number 1 to contract 2020-108. This is the acknowledge and authorization for the county to enter into a contract with DHS. The term is October 1st, 2021 through September 30th, 2022.
I do believe we have a representative here from
Juvenile Court, we do.
Okay.
to discuss the grant.
Come on up. Thank you, Commissioner.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners.
Morning.
Let me take this off. You'll hear me better. I'm Diana Summers. I'm the Programs Administrator with Rockdale County Juvenile Court. This is for our Reshape program. This is our 11th year of funding with the Department of Human Services, and it's for a contract for $100,000 that provides salaries for our coordinator and program facilitators, as well as transportation for youth and supplies. It also helps to fund our youth reporting center.
And could
Do
you,
you
Your mic.
Yes, ma'am.
it was so hot before. Could you explain exactly what the Reshape program does?
Yes, ma'am. It addresses youth risk behavior, including their experimentation with sex, drug use, and delinquency. So we use 2 different evidence-based curriculum for that shows very good outcomes for our youth. We've served over 900 youth since we started getting this grant.
Very good.
Is there any data on the outcomes after the program?
We know that they're less likely to engage in, risky sexual behavior. We do a pre and post test from the curriculum, and their awareness of different risks as far as pregnancy and STDs goes way up pre to post test.
But there's no long-term following of the participants?
Not that I know of, ma'am.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, I had one more question. I believe it's my understanding that the juvenile court will need this contract executed this week. Is that
Yes,
correct?
ma'am.
So if it's okay with the board, could we submit this for ratification so they could turn in their grant documentation?
I vote yes. So,
Yes.
I'll
Yes,
add it to the
yes.
agenda then.
Thank you.
Yes,
We'll
we'll
get that
certainly
back to
support it.
you.
We appreciate the work you're doing with the young people. Anytime we could be proactive and try to give them some words of encouragement about what life can do if they make bad choices and decisions. So we appreciate what you're doing. Thank you so much, and thank you for coming out.
It definitely affects families, and it tracks long-term with these youth.
It does.
I'm going to show a video during my comments today from a young man who's in recovery now, but he talks about how he started at 13.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you.
All right, and the last item is item 234 with DICES Solutions, DSI. It's through the Technology Services Department. This is to upgrade the county's data center in the amount of $779,402.62, and this is submitted for ratification.
Okay.
Can we go back to the ordinance for a minute?
The one under unfinished business?
Under unfinished business, the one that
Okay.
I have a couple of questions. My first question is I understand the separation of the Department of Fire and Rescue and the General Services and the code enforcement, the animal and control. I'm trying to understand what we're doing differently with Section 4 with park and recreation facilities, how we're changing that, the park and rec facilities. That's my number one question.
Okay.
Well, let me say that's question number one.
The only change in that is everywhere that it said, I think there were about 13 revisions, everywhere that it said Recreation and Maintenance Director, now it just says General Services. So there are no other changes to the ordinance.
Okay.
It was just a housekeeping.
Okay, so now while I have the ordinance out and we're looking to change that, I guess this is for the county attorney, is there any way that we can increase the fine for littering? Because it's only $100, and I would like to make this a bigger impact if they're caught littering in our parks.
Is that on the schedule, Director
Well,
Sanders?
no, and I'm not saying it has to be today. I'm just saying that now that I'm looking at it and seeing that the only impact for littering is $100 if you're caught, I would like to see if we can, by ordinance, state or county, increase the fine.
Yes, legislation can always be amended.
Okay, but sometimes you have a cap of a certain amount, and I just want to make sure that we can go over the line.
As an ordinance, the cap would be if we went under the general penalty up to $1,000.
Oh, that's a good fine for litter.
Well,
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Wow, serious over there.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Washington. I really like
Yeah.
the way you're thinking. We've got such an issue with littering throughout the county, and it appears that it increased during COVID.
Absolutely.
As you well know, you and Commissioner Williams participated just this past weekend with our community-wide cleanup, and I'm delighted to hear you inquire about increasing the fine, particularly at our parks, for littering. That's something that I would certainly support when we bring it back to getting an ordinance done and increasing those fines, Councilor. So good thought there.
Well, thank
Absolutely.
you.
All right.
All right, we're down to public comment.
So we're down to public comment. I just want to come on while she's coming up, and I do want to, Commissioner Williams has some lovely guests in the audience, and I want to just give them a shout out. I understand some fine people you met this past weekend, Miss Tara and Caden Harris. They were standing? Yes, indeed. All right. Yeah, he can come on up if he wants to. Come on up. He's interested in learning about civics and this whole political process. He met Dr. Williams over the weekend. And Dr. Williams, you want to greet him? He's coming on up there.
How old is he?
Right to the podium,
Hi,
too.
Caden.
Very good.
It's so nice to see you. I didn't see you sitting out there, so I'm glad the chairman mentioned that. Why don't you just share a little bit about what your booth was about? This was the Children's Business Fair in connection with the spring, Conyers Taste of Spring that was held Saturday. And I was privileged to be one of the judges for the different children's exhibits. And Caden's just was extraordinary. And if I was still teaching, I would have him be in my classroom teaching financial literacy. And in fact, the director of Hills Academy said he'd already made a contract with you. So tell us a little bit about what you are offering in your business.
My name is Caden. I'm the CEO of Caden Teaches, and I specialize in teaching kids about financial literacy throughout my financial products, such as my activity book, my financial flashcards, and my newest project that I'm working on is that I'm funding my financial bus, and it will have 4 different sections in it: one to earn, save, budget, and invest money.
Wow. Let's give him a round of applause.
Absolutely amazing. And good job.
Caden, tell them how old you are. Tell them how old you are.
I'm 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Well, we are certainly impressed with you this morning, Caden, and a big shout out to your mom for bringing you out. I think we've got us a future CFO for Rockdale County Finance Department standing right here. Janetta, Sean, y'all make sure you capture this moment and put it in the archives, because in about
When he's 20.
About,
he's
I think it's now.
in about 20 years, he might be somebody's boss around here. That was quite impressive, Dr. Williams.
Very good.
Yes, Caden was very clear. He's also, what he didn't mention is he's also written 2 books and has had them published. Why don't you tell us about your books?
I have 2 books. One is titled "I'm Not Going to Argue with You."
I love that one.
We need that one.
It teaches you how to deal with the negative people in life. And I have another book called Caden's Rich Kid Guide that helps kids earn $10,000 under 10 years old.
Wow.
And that comes in soft cover or hard cover. And when I asked him about the profit that he makes on the books, do you remember what you said to me?
For the soft cover book, my profit is $13, and for the hardcover book, my profit is $15.
Wow.
And so when I asked him about the profit, he said, "Oh, do you mean the ROI?" the return on investment.
Very
I
good.
said, "Yes, that's what I meant."
So one last question for you, Caden. What school do you attend?
I'm actually homeschooled.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well, that leads us to give your mom another round of applause. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming today.
You're welcome.
That's a great surprise for me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you, Ms. Mims, for getting the information so we can highlight Commissioner Williams' guest this morning, Ms. Tara and Caden Harris. Well, all right, so we're down to public comment.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'll go ahead and read. As a reminder, public comment is limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Comments relative to any issues that are currently going through the public hearing process, matters that are in active litigation, political campaigning, or partisan politics will not be heard in this meeting. Speakers are to address the chairman, not each other or the audience, and are expected to conduct themselves in an appropriate manner. The use of abusive or profane language shall not be allowed. No debate or argument between speakers and/or members of the audience shall be permitted.
Thank you, Director Rutledge. No stranger to Rockdale County at all. Our very own retired probate judge, Lillis Brown, is here. She volunteers with the Walk of Heroes. They've got an exciting golf tournament coming up. Come on up, Judge, and and tell us about the golf tournament. In fact, Commissioner Washington, you're
I'm
excited
putting it
over
on
there.
my calendar as we
I mentioned you to them last night at the meeting when we were there about perhaps you participating in the 4-person scramble. So they're looking for Judge Brown.
Thank you for the opportunity to come this morning. We are hosting our 4th annual benefit golf tournament for Walk of Heroes. It will be June the 11th. It will be at Cherokee Run. I have some information, and we're going to put some of the information, I believe, on Channel 23 as well. But you can contact or go to our website, www.walkofheroes.org, and there's an application on there as well if you wanted to fill it out. We're looking for sponsors. We have the big sponsors like your golf, the beverage cart, and the hole for one. Those are filled, but we have gold and bronze and silver sponsorships as well. We have hole sponsorships if you're interested in it. And of course, we're always looking for teams, and I'm excited to see some females come out and play in our game. I had a granddaughter who played in it last year. She'd never gone on a course at all. She parred 2 of the courses, and she played on Eastside High School golf team this year. So it's amazing what you can start with just a little tournament. And the other brief thing that I did want to mention, it is May, and this year we are hosting our Walk of Heroes Memorial Day service. It will be on Monday, May the 31st at 11 o'clock. And we're excited to say our keynote speaker is Chaplain Lieutenant Colonel Stacy L. Hanson. He's a graduate from Rockdale County High School and one of our own, and he's coming home to be our keynote speaker. So I would love to invite a lot of people out to come see the program as well. But I am amazed at how many people in Rockdale County that do not know that we have the Walk of Heroes on the north end of the county. It is a beautiful place to come. It is a very thought-provoking and very spiritual moving type of location, and it's beautiful. Excuse me, it's beautiful. We've done a good bit of cleanup work in the last year because we couldn't do anything else because nobody was coming. So we're really excited. We've done some replacement brick projects. So it's really interesting to come out, and I think we've got it set up to be a beautiful day for families to come out and enjoy Memorial Day. Again, it's 11 o'clock on May the 31st, Monday, May the 31st.
So it is a beautiful place. A number of years ago, we had family photos taken out there. And I love to look at them. And we probably ought to go back and do it again because we have 3 more grandchildren since the last time we were there.
It's very interesting. I got involved when we had the moving Vietnam War wall out there. And my duty started at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I worked from 6 to 10 each day they were there. And you go out there and you could hear the birds and you could see the lake, and it just, the people who had worked security, most of them retired veterans who had worked security overnight, just said they could stay there all night, all day long because it was just so peaceful and so pleasant to be there. But I would encourage a lot of families, you're looking for something to do that's important and will support our armed forces. Please come out and visit it, and please come out and enjoy our program this year.
Well, Judge Brown, we thank you for coming out, and certainly thank you for coming out and promoting the upcoming golf tournament that you all are having, and you may have another participant in that of Commissioner Washington. I will tell you, Commissioner, that we have already sponsored a team, and we have sponsorship that's going to pay for that from the community. But we will have a Rockdale County team. We don't have all the players yet, so there is a vacant spot for you, an opportunity for you. And also, Judge, you made mention of the Memorial Day celebration, and she's so right about everybody's tired of being cooped up and sheltered in place. It's a beautiful park to get out to and see, and it's another one of Rockdale County's hidden gems up there. So I want to encourage folks to get, it's very educational for the young people, for them to learn more about those who served in our armed forces. But we're proud to have the Walk of Heroes and the relationship with the county government and the Walk of Heroes. So keep up the good work, and you have our full support.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the time.
Thank you. Good to see you. Commissioners, board comment, and I'll start with Commissioner Washington.
I really don't have a lot. I will say that our finalist for our CEO of the Economic Development Council has signed his contract today, so we present to the full board on Thursday. So hopefully next Tuesday I'll have someone to present, but we've worked very, very hard. And what I will say is that this journey has been a combined effort of the county, the city, the school board, and the Economic Development the Development Authority. And we have put in so many hours to make sure that we get the right fit for Rockdale County, and it's somebody, and it will be somebody that can build on what we have and transition us into the next phase of economic development for this county. So I'm extremely excited to be able to make that announcement. And that's hot off the presses. He just signed it on last night. As a matter of fact, we actually had a meeting last night, and this morning we had another meeting at 8:30, and by that time he had signed his contract. So we're extremely excited. Hopefully Thursday we'll get a approval of the board and we can have somebody to present there. My second, I guess, announcement or thank you was for the great weekend that this community had with, number one, the cleanup. That was a tremendous effort with all of the entities that were involved, all of the departments. You had Parks and Rec, you had Stormwater, you had Planning and Development, everybody that was there. You had the fire chief on the grill. Madam Chief was on the grill. But just a great community effort by everybody involved. It was so good to see. And that many volunteers or people that were involved in keeping this community clean. Of course, that's huge. The aesthetics of the community is our baseline and how everybody else views this community. And then we had the Spring Festival. I forgot what they call it, but it was a great festival with all kinds of different artisans and food vendors. It was another good time. I think I ate myself into oblivion, but I definitely had a good time this weekend enjoying Rockdale County.
Very good. Commissioner Williams?
I just want to thank Caden again for coming this morning. I taught school for 30 years, and most of those years I taught children with exceptional abilities. Children who are very bright have different needs than the regular student, and it can be intimidating to some teachers because they know more than you. Mm-hmm. But I loved learning from my students, and I loved connecting with Caden again because it just brought back all that joy that I had when I was teaching those students. So thank you so much for coming. As far as the cleanup, I was judging, not at the cleanup. However, there was a team from our Stepping Up initiative that were there. Some of the accountability court participants were there. Judge Bills was there with them. Mary Lou Snow. They all had their Grit and Grace T-shirts on from the 501c3 that supports our people in recovery. After I saw the pictures, I felt like I'd been there too. So I appreciate that. The last thing I wanted to say was, as I was sitting here this morning, thinking about the cleanup, thinking about the participation in the Economic Development Council, I was thinking about how each of the three of us have very different strengths. And in those different areas, it works together really well. I appreciate what Commissioner Washington is doing with the economic development. I appreciate the fact that she is an attorney and can look at things in a different way than I would look at them. I appreciate the chairman for his always looking out at the community and what the community needs and listening to the community. I think that's a great strength, and I appreciate that. And then I guess my strength is that I come from the social services, human services kind of angle, looking at some of those particular needs, and it really takes all of those areas to function effectively as a county. So I feel very privileged to be working with the two of you, and I appreciate that. Those are my comments.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, and we certainly appreciate you. There's no doubt.
Oh, I forgot, I've got a video.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say this as they prep the video. There's no doubt that you've championed mental illness and mental health here in Rockdale County. Let's take a look.
So as we watch this, Chris, he's, like I mentioned earlier, he talks about starting his addictions at 13, and they last for over 20 years. And he's been through the accountability courts. He just graduated, and he's looking forward to the next step in his life. And that's really what I want you to pay attention to, is his focus on what's next.
My name is Chris, and recovery is a way of life to me. That's what it means to me. It just means doing the right thing. Life was dope and alcohol for me. From the time I was 13 years old to roughly like 36 years old, it was an obsession every day. Every relationship I had was damaged, ruined, non-existent. I didn't know what real relationships with people was like. You know, of course there was arrests and jail time and stuff, but in the beginning it was all just minor inconveniences. Nothing was enough to get me to stop. I was on felony probation in one county, caught more felony charges in another county, and I knew at that point that was like my second or third arrest for methamphetamine. So at that point I knew I was either going to go to prison or try to get into the drug court program. Rockdale County Drug Court program saved my life. It's a program where it's an intensive probation program. I wasn't ready to get sober. I just didn't want to go to prison, and I signed up for the drug court program. I didn't know how I was going to do it. And then, you know, the best thing they did for me was tell me I had to go to 2 NA or AA meetings a week, and that's when I found the key. Started working the steps and got a sponsor early on, very early on. You know, I said before, like, the drug court saved my life, and AA showed me how to live it. Through working the steps and working with a sponsor, you get to this, I got this feeling like I got to get this back. And they say, you know, in order to keep it, you got to give it away. And it just became real important to me that I try to do the same thing for others. I've turned around, complete 180. My relationship with God has changed. My relationship with family, with friends. I've had, you know, several moments in my recovery where I just get that feeling like this is what I've been supposed to have been doing the whole time. You know, whenever I get that feeling like, you know, you can't put a price on this, and that's just from having a conversation with somebody, you know, that's my higher power working through me, and it's just, like I said, that's the change. It's just a complete change in personality and everything. The Stepping Up initiative, it definitely has helped a lot of people. It gave the people that were in the different accountability courts, the drug court, the DUI court, the family treatment court, all an opportunity to get together and meet each other, in which case, without that, we wouldn't have ever seen each other, talked to each other. Man, I can't do this alone. We gotta have each other. That's the biggest thing. I cannot do this by myself. And my first real experience with that, when I first started drug court, was Thanksgiving was coming up, and I just mentioned in a class that I was kind of worried where I was at. Everybody's going to be drinking, partying, whatever. And they said, all right, everybody raise their hand who wants to give Chris their number. And like 10 people raised their hands. And they all called me. They all got my number. They called me at some point just to say, hey, how you doing? You know, that's, you know, and I've never experienced nothing like that in my life. That's not what I did when I was out there. A certified peer specialist is just the next step for me when I graduated drug court. Now that I don't have that on me, the drug testing, the accountability with that, I got to do something else. And I feel like it'll hold me accountable as well as help other people. That recovery is possible. It's real. I would have never in my life imagined that I'd be where I'm at today. Never my entire life. The entire world got high, did drugs, drank, did something. That was my perspective. I was always gonna be on something. I used to pride myself on that. Like, I'm always gonna be on something. You know, nobody knows what it's like to be me, but really, I would never, like, recovery's real. Like, I never, my wildest dreams thought I'd be here today doing this.
I've had a contract with the state of Georgia since about 2011, where I do a lot of indigent defense. And one of the tools that I use is the drug courts. And you don't know the feeling of euphoria when somebody's mother comes to you in a grocery store and thanks you for recommending drug court for their child, because their child has now been sober for 2 years, and they've gone through this drug court program, and they're now working, they're now taking care of their children, they now have a relationship with their children, they now have a relationship with their parents, all because of drug courts. And or when you have a client that writes you a letter saying, thank you so much for recommending this, even though this was the hardest thing I've ever done in life. Now I feel like a person. So just seeing this, it makes it very real what we do with the drug court and specialty courts and things like that. And that's why we always need to understand that there's a segment of the population that needs our support in order to go through these life's challenges, and that courts can be a carrot and not just a stick. So I thank you so much for doing this. It actually made me realize once again that these things are so important.
And they work for the people who want them to work.
Absolutely.
Yes. And I might just say that video was produced by our Stepping Up team, which consists of 2 people, Tanisha Reed Character, who just recently graduated from the DUI court, and Bill Carruthers, our program developer. They put together these Champions of Recovery videos every month as part of the support. And to recognize those who are doing really well.
Absolutely. Thank you.
They've done a great job. And just to echo a little bit of what Commissioner Washington was pointing out, not every jurisdiction, not every county has accountability courts or drug courts to offer their local citizens and residents, and it has made a major impact in this community in so many people's lives. So you're absolutely right. You just never know how a program like this can just turn. I mean, you heard from Chris right there, and I did zoom into what he was saying about what's next. So we're very fortunate in Rockdale County to have the judicial system that we have, caring, loving people who really want to see people do positive things. I have a few announcements, but I do want to start with thank you to everyone who participated in the countywide community cleanup. We had all hands on deck. I won't get in trouble and try to call out all those departments and people who made a play in this, but I do thank all of our employees, all of our leadership team, Chief Cabe and everyone who was part of the planning and making this happen. Chances are, commissioners, will probably do this again in the fall, somewhere around late September, early October. More importantly, we want to send a message to the community. We're not able to get out every week and pick up. We're asking that you really be concerned about the aesthetics and the appearance of our community as a whole. There is an abundance of trash and littering. We don't have the manpower or the personnel to stop every single time we see something that's out there on the road. We're asking people to see something, say something. We do want to hold people accountable. I really appreciate what Commissioner Washington said about increasing the fine. I think this thing has to be really serious. Those folks who are living in some of the areas, high traffic areas, Sigmund Road, some of the back roads of Rockdale County, people seem to find those places and dump tires and mattresses and old appliances. And then I see some blatant stuff that's out on some of the roads that we pass on a day-to-day basis, and I'm saying someone had to see this person dump this out into the road. We do have a littering problem. We've been combating this issue for quite some time between code enforcement and our community improvement team that comes up under the Department of Transportation. So thank you for your hands-on and all of the young people. Let me just give a big shout out to all of the Rockdale County students who were out participating and assisting this past weekend and being a part of the countywide cleanup. Thank you to all of them, different clubs and churches and groups, and to those neighborhood subdivisions and HOAs who decided to make it a day and an event for their particular communities too. We appreciate you all as well. So I think it was a big success, and we're looking forward to a debriefing and how we can make it an even bigger success as we plan and prepare for the one in the fall of this year. I also want to take a moment and say that it is Teacher Appreciation Week. So let's give a round of applause to all of our teachers
who have done an extraordinary job in the last year.
Yes.
I just can't even imagine.
Yes.
Every time I've thought, I am so glad I'm retired.
Well, Dr. Williams, you're absolutely right. This past year for every educator, and of course we're a little selfish because we want to really give a shout out to all of our local Rockdale County educators here in our own county, but this has been a very trying year for teachers over the past 12 months or so, having to work virtual. They've done some hybrid type situations. It's just been very difficult. So we want to give a big shout out and say thank you, and that we certainly do appreciate all of our teachers, particularly those teachers here in the Rockdale County Public School System. Also want to say this weekend, we're coming up on Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers in Rockdale County. We want to make sure we say that, and also want to say congratulations to all of our graduates, whether you're graduating from high school or college. We had a festive time this past weekend. Our youngest daughter, Stacy, graduated from college, and we're super excited about that. I want to say again, congratulations to all of our graduates here in Rockdale County. Again, whether you're graduating from high school or college. And in fact, I had a young person at the grocery store say, well, he graduated from kindergarten. So that was a big deal. So we want to say all graduates, absolutely. We want to say congratulations to all of you all. I also want to take a moment, commissioners. You all may remember such a gentle giant in the person of Mr. Tim Goosby. He was one of our photographers that did some freelance work from time to time for the county. Tim was a well-known photographer in the community. There's his picture. He passed away suddenly yesterday, and we want to ask that you would keep he and his family, his wife and family in our prayers. This has been a tremendous loss. Tim is a member over at the Shady Grove Baptist Church with Pastor Philip Baker. Tim, big man, but a giant teddy bear of a guy, good heart, always there to support our public relations team with different events and activities. And he did a lot of photographic work for so many different families, graduates, and different events throughout the community. So we want to say, please keep his family and his wife and family in your prayers, and the members over at Shady Grove Baptist Church. Tim was in charge of the audiovisual ministry for the church as well. So a big community loss. There's a lot being said right now on Facebook. This was very sudden. I actually was texting Tim on yesterday around 2 o'clock. We were talking about some of the projects that we're working on here in public relations, as he support them quite often. And Tim was with us on Sunday at our house as we were celebrating my daughter's graduation. So a big loss. He also worked as the campaign manager for Team Oz. For a long time, he was out there in the hedges with us. So it's a big loss. It's very personal, both on the personal side as well as the professional side, as he supported our public relations department here in Rockdale County. So I wanted to ask that you would keep the Goosby family in your prayers.
Amen.
Also, Director Morgan, if you want to add a little bit this morning, I know we're expecting one more round of severe weather this morning. The northern side of Rockdale County has really been impacted. Director Morgan and his team in the EMA department are doing a fantastic job keeping us abreast as to what's happening with the storms. And you know, we're in the, as old folks will say, the dog days of summer. So these pop-up storms, they come and go. Director Morgan.
Yes, Chairman, Commissioners, thank you. About a week ago, we did have an event in North Rockdale that had over 50 different calls for trees down, and we are in that pattern that every 4 or 5 days, it looks like we're seeing passages of severe thunderstorms as different fronts move through. We have one that is just to our northwest now that's going through northwest Georgia up into western North Carolina. After lunch, it's predicted to come down through here. We should see some more severe thunderstorms, and then another round is predicted about midnight tonight. They may not be as severe as yesterday, but it's according to how much heating occurs in the local areas, how active they get. After that, hopefully on Wednesday, we'll start having 3 or 4 days of calm weather. But you're right, we are in that pattern, and we'll be seeing more of this. So everyone needs to be weather aware. If you're watching at home or listening to this, make sure you have a weather radio. You know where the safe places are in your work and your home, and just be prepared to react when Mother Nature decides to get less than friendly.
Thank you, Director Boyd, and thank you for what you do over at EMA. Chief Mack, come on up. Our fire chief has some announcements she also wants to make as well. Chief Mack.
Just real quick, today is Happy International Firefighters Day. So if you encounter a firefighter at the grocery store, or if there's a fire station in your neighborhood, just stop in and say hi. We love cookies, brownies, food of any kind. So just stop by and wish your firefighters a happy International Firefighters Day.
Got you.
Well, thank you, Chief. Thank you. International Firefighters Day. We certainly do appreciate all of our firefighters. Big, dangerous job they do in rescuing and people in responding. We have a wonderful team to be proud of here in Rockdale County when it comes to fire and rescue in Rock. In fact, I believe we have the best in the state. We certainly do.
And firefighters are usually the first ones to respond to a 911 call, not just fire, but any kind of call.
So a couple of weeks ago, we had a situation on my street, and it was like 4 fire trucks that lined up on the street. They got there before EMA, everything, all 4 of them. All 4 fire trucks got to the gentleman on my street actually had a heart attack, and it was fire and rescue that got there before EMA did. So we appreciate you all.
Absolutely. I think that's all I have. I did get a message that young Caden Harris wants to present us with a copy of his book. But he's such an entrepreneur. I believe the commissioners agree with me when we're going to have to support purchasing a book. We don't want him to donate a book. We want him to. But come on up, Caden, if you want to come up at this time very quickly. We want to support him in purchasing a copy of his book, and we'll make sure we get the funds to you so we can do that. Give him another round of applause.
And then he brought the hardcover, so it's more, the one he gets a better ROI. Thank you, sir. So I'm sure you have Cash App and Zelle and everything. He said yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you. It's always impressive whenever we see young people doing positive things in our community. And Caden is well-mannered, very well-spoken, very articulate. He knows his product, and that's quite impressive. And for all of the people who watching this broadcast, Caden, I think you're going to get some requests from a lot of other folks. Your ROI is actually going to grow.
Right.
And I was real serious when I said to Janetta and Sean to make sure they archive this this piece of broadcast, because in about 20, 25 years, you could very well be the CFO right here in Rockdale County or working somewhere within our finance department. We're proud of you. Keep up the good work, and we'll get you some funds here in just a minute.
Nice.
Okay, give them another round of applause.
I see future Secretary of Treasury right there.
Director Rutledge, is there a need for executive session this afternoon?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, for the purpose of discussing land acquisition, personnel, and threatened litigation.
All right.
So I move that we go into executive session for the purposes of land acquisition, personnel, and threatening
There you go.
litigation.
I second.
Thank you.
It's been properly motioned and second that we will transition into executive session. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out and watching this broadcast. We're now moving into executive session. Happy Tuesday.
So we'll be over in room 106.
106.